Hello, everyone. How are you? My name is Leda Pérez, and we are One Love Centers for Spiritual Living. I am so excited to be here. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for being here on this wonderful day. And we are going deep today. Today is all about going deep. So I wanted to make sure that we introduce to you our guest speaker. Our guest today is Reverend Dr. Peggy Hostetler. I'll say that again, Reverend Dr. Peggy Hostetler. And let me tell you a little bit about who she is. And I'm bringing her on right now, but this is a little bit about her. Welcome, Reverend Dr. Peggy. And she originally is from Ohio. She began her career as a computer programmer, software instructor, and manager after receiving her BA in mathematics. She graduated from Ernest Holmes College in Orlando in 1995 and was immediately called to the Center for Spiritual Living in Ocala, where she served as a minister for 20 years. Her retirement was short-lived as Dr. Peggy soon asked to help restart Orlando Center. She served as a co-senior minister for Greater Orlando for 7 years. In February 2020, Reverend Dr. Peggy earned her honorary doctorate of divinity from Holmes Institute. She held the position of regional support coordinator for Centers for Spiritual Living in Southeast U.S. and as president of the Interfaith Alliance of Marion County, Florida. She taught at the Ministerial CSL School for Spiritual Leadership in Florida for many years and was always enjoyed encouraging students. I was one of those students. From the basic courses up to ministerial training to dream as big as they move ever upward in their spiritual path. Currently, Peggy is a guest speaker from time to time and leads a book and conversation group online Tuesday afternoon. And one of her favorite quotes, I am continually amazed by the wondrous gifts I receive and I see in the lives of others as we put into practice our wonderful teaching of science of mind, learning and growing together. What could be better than that? Welcome, Reverend Peggy. I'm so excited about having you here. And so I want to
It is a pleasure to be with you and a privilege. Thank you for asking.
My pleasure. My pleasure. So I want to start with our mission. Our mission is to provide a stable and welcoming community for all who choose to learn, practice, and grow and play in the unfolding of their understanding of spiritual principles and spiritual living. We envision a world as a sacred environment where spiritual living flourishes in the continual growth and development of learning and application of the spiritual principles. One Love Center practices compassion and service, love and action, and joyous, prosperous giving in the community. And our community has been lovingly created as a place of fellowship, meditation, prayer, sacred and healing service, musical celebration, classes, workshops, and spiritual films. So I want to welcome all of the guests who are here with us right here, right now. And I also want to welcome those who watch us a little later on from the recording. We recognize the splendor of the divine spirit that is you. Please know that we support you in being the best you choose to be in your glorious life. Thank you so much for celebrating with us. Welcome to a place where love grows. And welcome everyone. So it's wonderful to be here. I really enjoy having you, Reverend Peggy. It's exciting to talk about going deep. This is our conversation today. And I wanted to go ahead and start with an evocation. And so, Reverend Peggy, I'll step out and you'll just pray us in, won't you?
I would love to do that. Yes. I just invite us to turn within wherever we might be, knowing that whether it's in this present moment or watching in a recording in the future, the presence of spirit is right where you are, right where we are, God is. That we live in this flow of divine love, wisdom, truth, that allness, that perfection of the infinite is ever available to us. And that as we turn our attention to that, and we know that in this moment, Spirit is speaking and moving through this time together, our lives are truly blessed. We bless the lives of those whose lives we touch. We know that our time together in these moments is holy, it's divine, it blesses all. I do give thanks that this is so, and so it is.
Wonderful. So, what you heard was a prayer, and One Love Center has prayer professionals ready, willing, and able to remind you that Spirit is full of power, charged, and already within you for your immediate use. Thank you so much for that. And so, we move on to our talk for today. And our talk is all about going deep, deep in our. I want to get to the right slide here. Deep in so many things. So I'm going to let you take the lead here, Reverend Peggy, in talking about going deep. And we
Yeah, the question that comes to mind is, what does it mean to go deep? What does it mean to deepen? To deepen means to go below the surface, whether in thought, emotion, understanding, relationships, or experience. It's about moving from the superficial or the habitual into something more meaningful, connected, or transformative. And so we can go deeper spiritually, we can go deeper emotionally, we can go deeper intellectually. But of course, here we are, Center for Spiritual Living Center, that will probably talk most about going deep spiritually, which is a wonderful thing. And so we can think of going deep and deepen spiritually. We move beyond just that surface understanding of things, and we develop a stronger awareness of the divine, that which is at the center of who we are. We cultivate stillness and presence. We might surrender all our problems and our challenges to that one power that has no problems, and we move from just surface understanding of spiritual truths to really living them.
Thank you for that. I want to pose our first little quote here, if I can bring it up. Yes. I'll read this. What if you could hear the world between your heartbeats? Slow down enough to deepen into trust. And that quote is by Alexis Pauline Gumbs from Unground Black Feminist Lessons from Marine Manuals, page 142. Would you like to expand and talk on this?
What if you could hear the world between your heartbeats? What if you could recognize something that penetrates your being even between each breath? We've forgotten how to slow down, I think, lots of us. And for us to slow down and to find that stillness within ourselves can be a gift, whether like it's going smoothly or whether we're finding ourselves in a chaotic situation. To have the spiritual practice of stillness offers us gifts in all those moments. And we are actually, I think, opening to that infinite wisdom available to us, because when we're not going deep, we're shutting it out.
Right. I have a great question that I'd like to add here. When was the last time you truly slowed down and listened within? And this is a question not just for Reverend Peggy, for those who are listening with us. What did you discover in that stillness? We'd love to go ahead and comment in the comment section. So, again, that question is, when was the last time you truly slowed down and listened within? And what did you discover in that? How would you like to respond to that, Reverend Peggy?
Well, I would love to share a story.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, this is about Dr. Sylvia Earle, known as Her Deepness. She's a world-renowned oceanographer, explorer, and author who spent her life going deep, literally and metaphorically. In the 1970s, Sylvia led an all-female team of aquanauts on an extraordinary mission called Tektite 2, living for 2 weeks 50 feet below the surface of the ocean in a small underwater habitat. It was a pioneering study of marine life, but it also became a deeply personal experience. Down in the quiet vastness of the sea, surrounded by the slow, ancient movements of fish and coral, she experienced a kind of inner stillness that changed her life forever. She wrote later that in the silence of the ocean, you begin to hear yourself think. Removed from the noise of the world, Sylvia began to reflect not only on the mysteries of the ocean, but also on humanity's connection to nature and how fragile that connection is.
Mm.
From that depth, she returned with a new sense of purpose. Sylvia became one of the fiercest advocates for ocean conservation the world has ever seen. She has since logged more than 7,000 hours underwater and led numerous deep sea expeditions. But it's not the physical depth alone that defines her, it's the way she lets the depth speak to her.
Mm.
She listened and she came back with a mission. Through her work, Sylvia reminds us that sometimes we have to go deep into solitude, into silence, into unknown territory to discover what matters most. And when we resurface, we carry the truth with us into our world.
So true. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that story. We do have some comments from people who are joining us. I'd like to add
Mm.
that from Deborah Joy a few months ago, realizing I am only responsible for my own happiness. And this is something that she's just coming a few months ago, realizing what is true. Another comment I'd like to share is from PJ Metz. It's so hard to slow down right now. I find myself watching TV, browsing my phone, and sometimes even having music on. For me, slowing down takes a lot of effort. I understand that. And so we have When I Slow Down from Leanne Metz. When I slow down, I'm able to see that my anxieties are more manageable and not world ending. So look at how all around us people are slowing down and defining what that means. I really can understand that for we're in this rat race, go, go, go. Last week I was going too fast and got a ticket speeding. That's how much I wasn't slowing down. But we find ourselves trying to take that breath. And that's how I slow down, is when I feel myself getting anxious or getting ahead, is taking that breath and just then taking that within. So those are great things that I see, our community is working through, and all of us are trying to take that time to slow down. Would you like to add anything to that, Reverend Peggy?
Well, actually, um, we utilize a different part of our brain when we slow down. When we're reacting to things that are around us, we're just surface thinking using that reptilian brain that we have,
Mm-hmm.
that or flight or whatever brain.
Right.
But if we take that breath, and when we take that breath, we count to 10 perhaps, we actually are now giving our physical mentality a possibility to be working from the smarter part of our brain, that
Mhm.
cortex, that part of our brain that is more in tune with all of our understanding, all the knowledge we've learned, and our connection with the divine. And so, uh, honing our skill of slowing down, becoming mindful.
Mhm.
We don't drop and break things when we're mindful. I find that that's something that I do. I'm not paying attention and
Mhm.
I drop something and it might break.
Mhm.
But if I'm mindful, if I've slowed down enough that I'm doing one thing at a time, those kinds of things don't happen. And I also get the pleasure of knowing I'm not stressing myself out.
Mhm.
Who's
Mhm.
in charge of whether I'm stressed or not? It's not
Right.
somebody else, it's me.
That's so true. Even for me to slow down that's a great point. Slowing down and taking that breath, going within, letting go of what you have to go after or you have to run for. Those are all great things that I know that I've worked very hard at trying to slow down, but it's always been that breath for me. And yeah, great conversation on those. Let's go ahead to the second quote here. Would you like to read that?
Sure, I'd love to. This is from Ernest Holmes' Take the High Road to Happiness. The wick of your individual life runs deep into the oil of pure being. No matter what confusion appears at the surface of your life, there's always a place of calm at the center of your being. No matter how turbulent the waves may be on the ocean of your experience, beneath there is a changeless peace.
Mm-hmm. Love
In a meditation that I have from Ernest Holmes, he uses a stick in the water as a metaphor of this. He
it.
said, if you stick a stick in the water and half of it's above the surface and half of it's below the surface, and you ruffle the surface, what's down in the water looks like the stick is all broken apart and ruffly looking.
Mm.
But if you would put your face in the water and notice that that stick is just as straight as the stick that was above the surface. And this quote goes right along with that. No matter what confusion appears at the surface of
Yes.
life, there's always a place of calm at the center of your being. But we have to put our attention on it to get there. Otherwise, we're running in circles or the rat race thinking or whatever you might choose to call it. And we forget about this calmness, we push it away, and we don't get its benefits.
Well, I'd like to pose another question. How do you access that changeless peace within you when life feels so turbulent? How do you access that? And that's a question for all of you out there listening and watching us as well.
And I have a story that goes with that as well, if I could share.
Absolutely.
And this is about a woman named Angela. My daughter's Angela, and she's not in her late 60s, but this woman is. Angela was a quiet woman in her late 60s who lived alone in a small town. She had no title, no social media, and no big platform, but she had a ritual. Every morning before the sun rose, Angela would make a single cup of tea and sit in her old armchair by the window. She called it her morning meeting with God. There were no prayers out loud, no formal structure. She just sat, breathed, and listened. This ritual began years earlier after her husband died unexpectedly. In her grief, she found herself unable to talk much, even with friends. The world felt noisy and thin. But one morning, when the pain was thickest, she sat in silence and asked, "Are you here?" And in that moment, she felt something, a warmth, a presence, not outside of her, but inside. She cried, and the next morning she returned, and the next. Over time, she came to feel that this quiet meeting place was holy ground. She would reflect on her day, feel through her emotions, and ask for clarity, not from outside, but from within. Often a simple thought would rise: forgive her, or call your sister, or sometimes just breathe. People in her neighborhood began to notice something about Angela. Her presence was calming. She never rushed. When she listened, she really listened. A neighbor going through a divorce said Angela's quiet hug felt like a prayer. A young woman said Angela helped her choose peace over panic just by sitting with her during a panic attack. Angela never considered herself especially spiritual. She didn't talk much about faith, but in her stillness, she had gone deep, deep enough to touch a wellspring of wisdom and compassion, and it showed in how she lived, slowly, attentively, open-heartedly. Years later, when Angela passed away, a dozen people stood up at her small memorial and said nearly the same thing. She made you feel like you mattered.
Mm.
That was the fruit of going deep, quietly every morning, with just a cup of tea, a window, and her soul.
Oh, love that. That is so beautiful. My goodness. Sometimes silence is the only thing, isn't it? Just silence. And it brings so much to someone who is going through something. I love that. I want to share. This question was asked, and Estelle, usually I do a craft that keeps my hands busy, but lets my mind be calm. That helps to unlock my deeper thinking processes.
Mm.
Well, I love that Pastella has this little type of ritual for herself that makes it um, help her go into that deep thought, you know. And in doing that kind of work, I think you're also in that silence of yourself, right? So we have some other comments. I really appreciate everyone being here and commenting. Throughout the day, I take 3 deep breaths and say, "Thank you, God. Thank you." I've heard it said that if all you ever said was thank you, that is enough. That is enough. Nice, Deborah. Thank you so much for sharing that. And then for PJ Metz, I'm still trying to discover how to find my calm. Well, I am knowing for you that you will find that calm. I am knowing that for you, PJ. So everyone has their path, don't they, Reverend Peggy?
Yes, I garden and I do a lot of just hand watering. Not everything I have out there is under irrigation, and spending time, especially early in the morning, outside watering or planting new things or seeing how things are doing. Um, it's like the craft that one of your responders talked about. You
Mm-hmm.
know that we can spend time in nature. Of course, with me, since I'm in the garden under the shade of my oak trees, life is good, and especially now that I'm in those retirement years, I gift myself, and I see all those things that I have growing as gifts from God directly to me, and I give thanks for them.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. I uh, I was in a conversation with someone last week, and they were going through a lot because there's things going on in the company that are changing, and that's happening in a lot of companies. You know, I work for a nonprofit, and all of us have our hands in the same pot, you know, trying to get the support that we need. But this individual was just given an announcement that he's going to have to cut back on a lot of the expenses that were going on, and you know, people are going to have to shift from having everything to now, you know, having less than. And the first thing I said to that person was, take a breath. Just take a breath, because there's plenty for everyone. You know, we have a multitude of gifts that we can glean from, you know, and partake to get to the answers that we need in our life as far as our work, you know. So never think you're depleted. It's all depleted. We're not going to have this. But instead, think of, oh, wow, what a great opportunity to look in another direction, to go on another path, to go a little bit deeper, to find what is necessary there. So all of us are having our own little challenges, but isn't it wonderful that we get to think differently and expand our awareness just by going within and going deeper? I
And
love
it gets easier with practice.
it. It does.
If we've been living that very fast life and we don't know how to do this, just little beginnings of
Hmm.
sitting in silence or turning within, even a couple minutes and breathing can begin a practice that will expand. And we get the benefit even with the shorter practice. And
Hmm.
we find that that's a time for us to enjoy our lives and awaken to that spiritual deepness within us that we might be overlooking just because there's so many demands made on our daily lives.
Hmm. Let's go ahead to our next quote. Would you like to read that one?
Yeah, so this is from the Science of Mind. It's from a meditation near the end of the Science of Mind book, the textbook. And so Ernest Holmes is inviting this. So I would invite us to just join with these ideas. So
Hmm.
we let go of everything and turn to that divine depth within our own nature, where in the Spirit of God The spirit of love, the spirit of peace dwells with calm serenity.
Mm. And that's from Ernest Holmes' Science of Mind, page 559 to 560. I know
Wow.
that when you and I spoke, you said, I think I have a quote that I'd really like to use for this. And I'd like to go ahead and expand a little bit more on that. And we do have a question for that one as well. And go ahead if you'd like to share.
Okay, so the question is, what might shift in your life if you truly let go and turned inward to the divine depth within you? Uh, and those of you who have the Science of Mind book, I would invite you to go to those pages 559 to 560. This is part of a meditation called I Dip Deeply into My Divine Nature. And so this question goes right along with that as we turn inward to the divine depth, because it's there. In the busyness of our lives, we might be overlooking it, but it's not missing. It's there beneath the surface as we slow down enough to give it a chance to come to the surface. And when we do that, we are actually inviting a shift in our life, aren't we?
Yes.
Instead of living from that surface intellectual only kind of understanding, and those parts of our brain that don't have the connection that we have with the divine, we're inviting the wisdom as well as the love and the power of the infinite to hold sway in our lives and to hand burdens over to the divine instead of thinking the burden of life is resting only on our shoulders. Because the burden of life we can let go of as soon as we realize that we're part of this infinite source of all power and all love and all beauty and good, and line up with that in our thinking and know that we're a conduit of that into our world.
You know, we don't know what shift will happen sometimes, what might shift in your life because we're so focused on holding on that we're the fear of letting go of where we are and maybe getting used to this is how it is feeling. So being open to what that shift may be, I pose that question to those of you who are watching. What shift might be? What have you let go of recently that really all of a sudden opened up a whole new opportunity and path for you that you didn't even realize was there? So letting go for us is always we're used to the normal things, holding on to something because it's natural for us. This is the way it's always been. But letting go is when you really find out how divine that depth is within you, how much you're able to see something greater that would not have appeared at any other time. And it's also the most difficult is that letting go, that part of letting go, because we're so used to the status quo, right?
Yeah, the familiar, yes, yeah. And we don't even know we have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes. And maybe if we have a dream of our heart that we don't think is within reach,
Mm-hmm.
these are wonderful ideas that we can put into practice to open ourselves to draw that answer to our prayer. That dream of our heart may very well be the dream of the infinite in us, calling forth from us and desiring us to move in that direction with our lives. And as we take that time to go deep, to slow down, I remember back before I became a ministerial student, I was picturing my life as really moving. I had it all, right? The kids, the husband, the house, the perfect job. But I felt like I was traveling around and I looked up at a paddle fan and I thought, this is what my life really feels like. It
Yes.
feels like I'm riding around on the end of my paddle fan. I've got a paddle fan going right about the right speed right now above me now. And that was a metaphor for me. And I didn't know how to turn the paddle fan off in my life. But life knew how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was when I first discovered this teaching, actually. And everything shifted. And my life took a turn toward a greater fulfillment and meaning. Yeah.
That is beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. We have this lovely quote I want to share, and I think it's Pastel. I'm not sure how to say her name, but thank you so much for sharing this. I have let go of fear that the me I recognize may change profoundly. I have come to accept I might like the person I become. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
Would you like to comment on that?
Yeah, I would leave that on the screen for a minute because Ernest Holmes has something to say about this pastel. Um, he says, as we grow spiritually, we never become less ourselves. We always become more of who we truly are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I would encourage you to not just accept that you might like that person, but you'll become more of who is the true you.
Yes,
And that keeps getting better and better and is without end.
absolutely. What advice do you have for PJ? He's still trying to discover, you remember before, how to find the calm. How would you like to help him with that or share?
Yeah. All I can say is begin in small ways.
Hmm.
Even as busy as your day is, even as you feel the pressure of your life pouring down upon you, there are small ways where you can take a breath
Hmm.
or look at your life and give thanks for something about it that's happening right now. And in that time where you're giving thanks for it, that's a causative moment where you'll be attracting more and more to give thanks for. Um, and it also will open you, if you have a desire for more calm and time for introspection, it will open that road, that pathway for you, and you'll find it. It's yours.
It is. It is for everyone, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah. We might seem to be hiding. We just need to move toward it and expect that it will show up and do some spiritual reading. Get out your Science of Mind textbook. If you don't have one, get one. Some other books by Ernest Holmes and other New Thought authors
Hmm.
may very well speak to you. If you've never bought a Science of Mind book, I would invite you to start with a book called This Thing Called You
Yes.
by Ernest
Thank you.
Holmes.
That is the
And as you read that, some things talking to you, put those words in the first person and claim them for yourself.
hmm hmm and affirmations do work as well. And speaking of
Here
affirmation,
we are. Yeah. How are we on time? Are we doing pretty good on our time?
I think we are. Yes, we are.
Good.
So
Okay, good.
doing very well. And again, I want to thank all of you for coming on and sharing your thoughts and your feelings and your beliefs with us and just being a part of our conversation today, because this is really important for us. We want to make sure that all of us are having the conversation, not just the guest and the host, but that we're all included in this conversation. Thank you so much for that. So I will put the first one up for you, Reverend Peggy.
Okay. It is so that I embrace the depths of my soul, knowing I dive deep in wisdom, wonder, and wild possibilities. I love it.
Want to say that one again? Take a breath and say it once.
Oh, I invite everyone to say it with me.
All
It
right.
is so that I embrace the depths of my soul, knowing I dive deep in wisdom, wonder, and wild possibilities.
Taking another deep breath. It is so that I awake from the dream of lack and want and unhappiness to the knowledge of harmony, of abundance, and of peace. Oh, let's say that again together, shall we? It is so that I awake from the dream of lack and want and unhappiness to the knowledge of harmony, of abundance, and of peace.
Mm. And let's breathe a couple times.
Yes.
And I invite you to feel this. I'll say it once, then we'll do it together if you would join in. It is so that I remember that slow is efficient, effective, and beautiful.
Mm.
It is so that I remember that slow is efficient, effective, and beautiful. Mm. Breathing one more time.
Mm.
And so it is, And now it is.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That was wonderful. And so we will move on to some of our, let's go back up to the banners. We did our affirmations. Let's talk a little bit about our abundance. And
Can we do a prayer first, please?
oh, we'll do the prayer first. Yes, of course. Let's go to prayer.
Yes, yes. Oh, so I just invite us all to turn within and to know that we are growing in our ability to go deep, to slow down, to allow Spirit's entrance into our conscious awareness. Knowing that when we do that, it feels good, and it also creates an opening for those qualities of the divine to flow into our experience and our expression of life. All the love there is, all the peace there is, all the power there is, the wisdom, the harmony, the joy flows into that space that we allow when we slow down and deepen. And life just keeps getting better. I give thanks that this is so, and so it is.
Thank you so much. You know, this is my first time doing the hosting, and I realized that I forgot the opening song, but that's okay.
Oh, that's given us more time to talk.
It gave us much more time to talk. So I didn't know if we wanted to do that or we just go with the closing song and move into abundance. And I think let's just.
You're in charge, Leda, so you do what the Spirit is calling for you to do.
So let's go ahead and do that song, that opening song, I'm Choosing Heaven. And what I want you to do is I'd love for you to write in the comments what you're choosing for today for yourself, okay? The song is I'm Choosing Heaven. Forgive me for this little faux pas, but everything happens by divine, doesn't it?
Sure.
So let's go ahead.
Perfect place for it.
I'm Choosing Heaven. always great. I love the choices that I saw from the comments here. Today, I am choosing to be grateful for what I have. I am choosing to remember past lessons instead of relearning them all over again. That's a great thing to choose. Absolutely. And so we are moving forward in our service today uh, for offering abundance. And I'd like to say that we are so grateful for the donations that One Love receives from all of you. One Love Center, you can send it to PayPal, onelovecenter.org, or Cash Me App, $ One Love CSL, for all of your support. It really helps us continue this service and continue to be there for you. So if you, I would like to have Reverend Peggy, if you can do the affirmation of abundance.
Yes, we could share it together.
Mm-hmm.
Money, as one of the many gifts of spirit, is good. As I share my offerings, I know I am actively creating a space to receive more gifts, more money, and more good. I am grateful for the ability to give and for the good works these gifts do in our center and in our world. And now it is.
And now it is. Thank you so much for that. All right. Next, we have announcements to make. So we'll start with the One Love Center is requesting a member for technical support. That would have been a good thing if I had someone here to remember the song in the beginning. So we are looking for technical assistance for our broadcast. Please contact us if you'd like to have a heart for helping our center. We would love to have you join us. Just contact us through OneLove at onelovecenter.org to be of service. Bless you and thank you. We also have a Beyond Limits, move into living beyond your limiting belief by registering for our class Beyond Limits. Again, you can go to our website or you can email us. Our website is onelovecenter.org/events or email onelove at onelovecenter.org. Next, the Summer Soul Visioning Retreat is on Friday, August 22nd, Sunday through August 24th. It's a 3-day 3 sessions a day for 3 days. So you can start anytime and attend as many times as you like. This is the information to that particular event. And let's see. And you can also, if you wish to donate any amount, it's tax deductible. We're gathering to nourish our souls and revitalize our vision. Okay. And One Love Center, I'd like to talk a little bit about practitioner training. And Reverend Peggy, if you would like to start with that, on what that is.
Okay, so we'll read what's on the screen and then have a quick conversation. Core belief. CSL's practitioners believe in the power of thought and the presence of the divine in all people and situations. Their goal is to help others awaken to this truth. And if you notice, Leda's name has those letters following it now. Yes. And this may be the second Sunday that you've had this on. RScP is Religious Science Practitioner. You start with Beyond Limits, and then there are other classes that you can take. And as you take those classes, a couple of years perhaps of classes that you take at your convenience online, or going to a center where they teach the classes, then you're ready to take practitioner training classes. And if someone is feeling called to be in spiritual leadership in our centers, that practitioner license is the key to being a spiritual part of the ecclesiastical team of a center, and to pray for others. This wonderful teaching of the science of mind, once we really start using it in our lives and get demonstrations, let's say there's a problem that we've had, and we know that that's something due to our thinking, and as we align our thinking with the truth of our being, that problem dissipates and we receive the answer to prayer, and we learn how to pray affirmatively. We don't want to just keep that to ourselves. We want to share it with others. We want to be praying for others, for our world, helping to make a world that works for everyone. And Leda has just completed her training exam systems and paneling to become a practitioner. So Leda, what kind of advice or insights would you share with people that are considering growing beyond taking just introductory classes in our teaching?
Thank you so much, Reverend Peggy. I really have to say that I walked into this by accident, back in 2008, 2009. Just happened to be at a health club, and in that health club was a, um, a church in a box. And it was the Orlando or the Center Orlando CSL. And I came to find out about it, and I had always been searching. So when I heard about it, I did go. And my first time there, I was like, this is it. This is what I know to be my path. And it was slow. I mean, from 2008, I just got into every single book that you can get into that was New Thoughts, Ernest Holmes, uh, Joel Goldsmith, Wayne Dyer, just everything that I just immersed myself in it. And I became really engaged and involved in it because I knew that this was the path for me. And I had been searching for so long. And the prayer for me was important too. It wasn't beseeching, it wasn't being begging, it was a prayer, affirmative prayer is so different. It was an opportunity to really know who you were. It's that knowing that is so different from the begging. Um, so when I came to that, it was, it's 3 years of training for me, but really it was since 2008 when I first came across it, and I've been learning ever since. And the more I learned, the more I realized that this has been calling me to step forward and to serve others. So if you have that heart, if you're feeling a deep call for this, practitioner training, I would encourage you. I'm going to put our information up here. Please give us a call and let us know that you have an interest in at least learning more about what this is, what Centers for Spiritual Living can do for you and for those around you. You just one love at onelovecenter.org and join us and learn more. And maybe that will be your path also. Being a practitioner, our core belief being, the power, as I showed before, that's our core belief of the power of thought, what you think you become. And the presence of the divine is in all people, all of us walk. And we accept all faiths. It doesn't mean we believe that there is one God. One love believes in one God, and that we all are walking that same path. So thank you so much for that opportunity to share that. And again, let us know if you have an interest. We would love, love, love to help you out with that.
Yeah, there is a gift that comes when we do use this teaching to help others, because there are those who want to believe, but they aren't there yet individually. If
Mhm.
they when they call on a practitioner or a minister, which does require more training than a practitioner, but the practitioner step is a necessary step even to becoming a minister in our movement, then someone else can know the truth about us and set that law of mind in motion, that law of attraction in motion, even before we know enough to be able to do it for ourselves. And sometimes when we're caught up in a challenge in our life or have a dream that's too big, that to call in a practitioner or a minister to help us know that truth, we might not be able to believe it for ourselves, but we believe they can believe it.
Mhm.
And that belief makes all the difference.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
So thank you for that again. And I think we've covered all the announcements. So if you could lead us into a closing prayer, and then after that, we'll have another song. We'll remember it this time. And, Reverend Peggy, if you could lead us into a closing prayer, please.
Sure. Love to do that. Yeah. So as we turn within again, allowing ourselves to be aware of that infinite presence that resides within our very being. I give thanks for our time together this morning. I give thanks for ideas that come from those that are watching, as well as those of us who are in conversation, as well as those ideas of our mentors, of Ernest Holmes and others. And that as we allow ourselves, we know that we are growing in our spiritual nature into more and more of who we truly are. And we're setting a tone as we exit today for the rest of our week. This week will be better because we came together today. And if we're watching this as a recording later, our next week will be better because we watched this recording in these present moments. I do give thanks for this teaching of the science of mind, philosophy. I give thanks for new thought, for this wonderful understanding that God is all there is and God is only good. And that as we align our thinking with that truth of being, wholeness is ours, and peace and joy, divine activity, certainty, that all good flows into our lives to enrich our lives, for us to be blessed and for us to be a blessing. I do give thanks that this is so, and so it is, and so it is.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much, Reverend Peggy. I am going to put our next song on, but stay close by. We'll come back to give thanks again, and our song, let's see, is right here. So thank you so much. I do appreciate you being here. You've been wonderful. You've been such a great guide for me and support for me. I'm just so grateful for the continued learning that is there for me as well. So thank you for being here. And now for our closing song.
No walls between our hearts, and no walls between our souls. Where you begin and where I start, who I am and who you are. Oh, we are one. We are one. We are one love. One love without an end. One love, no us or them. Though we seem different, we're more the same. Children of the light that never fades. Oh, we are one. 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 One love. One love. One love. One love. One love. One love. Oh yeah. One love. One love. One love. One love. One love. We are one. We are one. We are one. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. We are one. One love. We are one. One love. We are one love. Yeah, yeah. One love. 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 One love.
They say there is a doorway from heart to heart. But what is the use of a door when there are no walls.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I love that song. One love, one love. Yes, yes. Would you like to have any final words, Reverend Peggy?
Well, I just want to thank you, Leda, for inviting me to be on with you today. And I know that Reverend Rodney is on his way to a conference in Mexico and might be watching on the at the airport. And if he is, our love to you, my love to you, Reverend Rodney. Thinking of times that I've been in Mexico on ministerial student cruises, and we did some side trips with others together. Fun
Oh, wow.
memories. And I look forward to maybe being invited back. This is a wonderful opportunity to get the word out and to invite an unlimited audience in our world.
Thank you so much. And I know so many people out there are very excited about being a part of this. I appreciate you being with me today. Goodbye, everyone. Have a great week. Remember to go dive deep and find your spirit there.